My girlfriend's aunts cornered me at Christmas. When are you going to propose? She's been waiting for 5 years. What's wrong with you? I replied, that's a great question. Then I revealed I'd proposed 3 times. She'd said no every time and never told her family. When they turned to look at her, I, 31 male, am writing this from my apartment on Christmas night. Should be at her parents' house right now, eating pie and pretending to enjoy her uncle's accordion performance. Instead, I'm sitting here with a half-empty bottle of bourbon and 5 years of relationship status updates to delete. Let me back up. I've been with my girlfriend for 5 years. Met through mutual friends at a barbecue, hit it off immediately, moved in together after 18 months. Standard stuff. Her family is huge. We're talking 4 aunts, 3 uncles, approximately 9,000 cousins, and grandparents who still run the show from their matching recliners. Every holiday, every birthday, every random Sunday in June, there's a family gathering. I've attended probably 60 of these things over 5 years. Brought wine, helped set up tables, listened to the same stories about her cousin's glory days in high school football. I put in the work. I really did. But here's the thing, everyone at these gatherings loved to ask me, so when are you going to make an honest woman out of her? Every single time. Her aunts were the worst. They'd corner me in the kitchen while I was refilling drinks. You know she's not getting any younger. What are you waiting for? Don't you love her? The pressure was relentless. I always smiled and said something vague like, when the time is right, or we're taking things slow. What I never said was the truth. I'd proposed 3 times. She said no every time. Proposal number 1 was 2 years into our relationship. I saved for 4 months, bought a ring, planned a nice dinner at her favorite restaurant, got down on one knee. She cried, said she loved me, but she wasn't ready and needed more time to figure out what she wanted. I was devastated, but understood. We were still young-ish. I could wait. Proposal number 2 was a year later, her birthday. I'd upgraded the ring, traded in the first one plus additional savings. Rented a cabin for the weekend, set up candles, the whole deal. Her response, I love you so much, but I just don't feel like we're there yet. Can you give me more time? More tears, more promises that she just needed to grow first. Proposal 3 was 8 months ago. No grand gesture this time. Just us on the couch, a quiet evening. I looked at her and said, I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me? She looked at me with genuine sadness and said, I can't. Not yet. I'm sorry. Please don't give up on us. 3 proposals. 3 rejections. And every single holiday, her family treated me like I was the commitment phobe stringing along their precious girl. She asked me not to tell anyone. It's embarrassing, she said. They'll make it weird, just let me handle it in my own time. So I kept quiet, like an idiot. Fast forward to yesterday. Christmas Eve dinner at her parents' house. 23 people crammed into a space designed for 12. Her grandmother holding court, her mother stress cooking enough food for a small army, her father pretending not to notice the chaos. I was in the kitchen getting a drink when her 3 aunts surrounded me. Not figuratively, literally blocked the doorway. We need to talk, the oldest one said. Arms crossed, Judge Judy energy. Okay? 5 years, the middle one said. 5 years you've been with our girl. When are you going to propose? She's been waiting so patiently, the youngest added. Honestly, what's wrong with you? Now, normally I would have done my usual deflection. Smiled, made a joke, escaped to the bathroom, but something snapped. Maybe it was the wine. Maybe it was 5 years of being painted as the bad guy. Maybe it was seeing my girlfriend across the room, laughing with her cousins, completely oblivious to the fact that her aunts were once again interrogating me about my failure to commit. That's a great question, I said. Calm voice, level. They looked at each other, surprised I was engaging. I've actually proposed 3 times. Silence. First time was 2 years ago. She said no. Second time was on her birthday last year. She said no again. Third time was in April. She said no, again. Their faces went through a journey. Confusion, disbelief, then slow horror as they realized what I was saying. She asked me not to tell anyone because it was embarrassing. So every time you've cornered me asking why I won't commit, I've just smiled and taken it. Because she asked me to protect her from this exact conversation. The kitchen went silent. Someone had turned off the music in the other room. I realized too late that my voice had carried. A lot of people were staring. My girlfriend appeared in the doorway. What's going on? All three aunts turned to look at her. The oldest one's voice was ice cold. 3 times? He proposed 3 times and you said no? The color drained from my girlfriend's face. She looked at me with pure panic. That's not. He's exaggerating. I have the ring receipts, I said quietly, and texts from after each proposal where you promised you'd be ready soon. I'm not exaggerating anything. Her mother pushed through the crowd. What is happening right now? Apparently your daughter has been saying no to marriage proposals while letting us blame him for 5 years, the middle aunt said. My girlfriend started crying. You don't understand. I had my reasons. He's putting this all on me. I'm not putting anything on anyone. I'm just done being the villain in a story where I've been trying to commit and getting rejected. Her father appeared, looking thoroughly confused. Someone want to explain why my daughter is crying and everyone's staring at her boyfriend? Ex-boyfriend, I said. Surprised myself with that one. But once it was out, it felt right. I think we're done here. I grabbed my coat from the bedroom. My girlfriend followed me, sobbing. You can't do this. Not here. Not in front of everyone. Why not? You've let them humiliate me in front of everyone for years. Seemed only fair to set the record straight. I was going to say yes. I was planning to say yes at New Year's. I stopped, looked at her, really looked at her. You've been planning to say yes for 3 years. At some point, actions matter more than intentions. Please, don't leave like this. We can talk about this privately. We've talked privately 3 times. Always ends the same way. I'm tired. Her mother appeared behind her. Young man, I think you owe my daughter an apology for making a scene. I almost laughed. Almost. With respect, ma'am, your daughter has rejected me 3 times while letting your family treat me like I'm afraid of commitment. I don't owe anyone an apology. Merry Christmas. Walked out. Drove home. Sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes before I could make myself go inside. 5 years, 3 proposals, 1 very public breakup at Christmas dinner. Merry freaking Christmas to me. Update 1, 3 days later. Thanks for all the comments and DMs. Yeah, Christmas was rough, but the fallout, even rougher. Woke up the morning after to 32 text messages. Most from her number, a few from her mom, 1 from her dad, surprisingly reasonable. Just asked if I was okay and said he understood why I was upset. Her texts ranged from, I can't believe you did that to me. You humiliated me in front of my entire family. I was going to say yes, you ruined everything. Please call me, we need to talk. I love you, this can't be over. You're being so unfair. I didn't respond to any of them. Needed space to think. But here's where the entitlement really kicked in. Her mom started a group text with both of us and several family members. I should have left immediately, but morbid curiosity got the better of me. Her mom? I think we all need to have a calm, adult conversation about what happened. My girlfriend is devastated. Whatever issues you two have should have been handled privately, not at a family gathering. Me, with respect, your family has been publicly questioning my commitment for 5 years. I handled it privately until I couldn't anymore. Her aunt, the oldest one, we were just looking out for her. We didn't know. You didn't know because she asked me to lie for her. I'm not the bad guy here. Her mom, no one is saying you're the bad guy, but you did embarrass her terribly. The least you could do is apologize. 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 After everything. I left the group chat, blocked her mom's number. Then came the flying monkeys. Her best friend texted, I don't know what happened, but she's a mess. Can you please just talk to her? She really loves you. Her cousin, one I actually liked, messaged, hey man, I get why you're upset, but she's spiraling. She's barely eating. Maybe consider reaching out? Her brother, who I'd never been close with. You really did her dirty. She told me her side. You could have handled this way better. I responded to the brother. Bad idea. Me, what's her side exactly? Him, that you ambushed her in front of everyone because she wanted to wait for the right moment, that you've been pressuring her for years and she felt trapped. Pressuring her. After she said no 3 times and I stayed. After I kept quiet when everyone blamed me. After I let her family treat me like garbage to protect her image. Me, I proposed. She said no, 3 times. I accepted it each time. How is that pressure? That's not what she's saying. Me, I have texts, receipts, and 3 very clear rejections. Ask her to show you the messages from after each proposal, the ones where she begged me not to give up on her. Then get back to me." He didn't respond, guessing she didn't want to show those texts. But the peak entitlement came on day 3. She showed up at my apartment, unannounced. I wasn't going to answer the door, but she started knocking louder, and I have neighbors. Opened it, kept the chain on. "What do you want?" She looked terrible. Red eyes, hair unwashed, wearing what I'm pretty sure was the same sweater from Christmas. "Can I please come in? I need to talk to you. We can talk like this. This is so cold. After 5 years you won't even let me in. You said no 3 times. I don't owe you entry to my apartment." She started crying. I was scared, okay? I was scared of marriage. My parents' marriage is a disaster. You know that. I didn't want us to become them. Then why didn't you tell me that? Why string me along for years saying you'd be ready soon? Because I didn't want to lose you. I kept thinking I'd get over my fear, but I didn't. So you let me propose 3 times knowing you'd say no. I thought if you kept trying, eventually I'd be ready. I stared at her. The logic was genuinely insane. You wanted me to keep proposing until you felt like saying yes? Do you know how messed up that is? I know I handled it wrong. But I love you. I do want to marry you. I just needed time. You've had 5 years and 3 proposals. Time's up. You can't just end this. We have a life together. We had a life together. Past tense. She tried a different approach. What about the apartment? All our stuff? We have a lease together. This was actually a concern. We'd renewed our lease in September. 8 months left. I'll buy out my portion. You can find a roommate or break the lease yourself. I can't afford this place alone. That sounds like a you problem. Harsh? Maybe. But I was done being her safety net. You're being so cruel, she whispered. This isn't the man I fell in love with. The man you fell in love with proposed 3 times and got rejected every time. Maybe you never really knew him. She left, cried in the hallway for about 10 minutes before her friend came to pick her up. I felt like garbage. But I also felt free? Is that wrong? Started looking at new apartments that night. Emailed the landlord about breaking my portion of the lease. Time to move on. Update 2. 1 week later. Happy New Year, I guess. Here's the latest chapter in this mess. So remember how she said she was planning to say yes at New Year's? Apparently, that wasn't a lie. Her friend reached out to tell me she had a whole thing planned. Was going to propose to Emmy at midnight. Had bought a ring and everything. She wanted to surprise you, show you she was finally ready, and you ruined it. Cool. So after 3 rejections, her solution was to propose to me herself at a party, in front of people. The lack of self-awareness is almost impressive. But here's where things got ugly. Her family started a campaign. Not online, thank God, small blessings, but through every mutual connection we have. Her mother called my mother. Told her I'd publicly humiliated her daughter and destroyed a 5-year relationship over hurt feelings. My mom, bless her, asked one question. Did your daughter reject his proposals 3 times? Silence on the other end. Then it sounds like she destroyed the relationship, not him. Her mom hung up. My mom called me immediately after to get the full story. She was livid. Not at me. You proposed 3 times and that girl said no? And you stayed? Honey, you stayed too long, not too little. Parents. Sometimes they know what's up. Then came the apartment situation. I'd offered to buy out my portion of the lease. Reasonable, right? Landlord was willing to work with us, but she refused to sign the paperwork. If you want out so badly, you figure it out. I'm not making this easy for you. She wanted me to either stay, and presumably eventually forgive her, or suffer financially to leave. Classic manipulation. So I did the math. Paying out the lease would cost me about $6,400. Painful but doable. Started the process with the landlord directly. Her signature wasn't technically required for me to surrender my portion of tenancy. She'd just become solely responsible. When she found out, she lost it. Showed up at my office, during work hours. Security had to escort her out after she started making a scene in the lobby. She was screaming about how I was abandoning her and destroying her life. My boss called me in afterward. Everything okay at home? Breaking up with my girlfriend of 5 years. She's not handling it well. Clearly. Let me know if this becomes a pattern. We can involve HR. Great. Now my job was potentially at risk because she couldn't respect boundaries. But the real kicker? The financial stuff. We'd kept our money mostly separate, thank God, but we did have some shared expenses. Furniture we bought together, kitchen stuff, random things that accumulate over 5 years. She sent me an itemized list, I kid you not, a spreadsheet, of everything she felt I owed her. The couch she'd picked out but I'd paid for. The TV I bought that she contributed to by watching it with me. Cookware that was a gift to US from her parents. Total demanded $3,200. I sent back one line, I'll take the TV and couch since I paid for them. You can keep everything else, we're even. Her response, this is so typical. You always were cheap. Cheap. The man who bought 3 engagement rings over 5 years, who upgraded the second one, who paid 60% of our rent because she made less money. Cheap. I didn't respond. Here's the thing though. All this drama, all this entitlement, it was clarifying. Every text, every demand, every manipulation attempt showed me exactly who she was when she didn't get what she wanted. This wasn't grief over losing me. This was anger that I'd stopped playing the game on her terms. Filed final paperwork to exit the lease. Moved my essential stuff to a buddy's spare room while I apartment hunt. Left the furniture. Not worth the fight. She can have the couch. I'm keeping my self-respect. Final update, 3 weeks later. Alright, closure time. Here's how everything shook out. The apartment situation resolved messier than I hoped. She refused to cooperate until the very end, so the landlord eventually gave us both an ultimatum. Figure it out, or he'd begin eviction proceedings against both of us, which would wreck both our rental histories. She finally signed the paperwork, but not before sending me a 3-page email about how I'd ruined her life, stolen her future, and proven she was right not to marry someone so cold and vindictive. 3 pages of victimhood, not 1 sentence of accountability. Her family kept the pressure up for about 2 weeks. Then it just stopped. I heard through my buddy, who still talks to one of her cousins, that her grandmother basically told everyone to drop it. Apparently grandma said something like, the boy proposed 3 times. She said no 3 times. That's not his fault, that's hers. Stop embarrassing yourselves. Grandma gets it. The workplace incident had consequences. HR did get involved after she showed up a second time, this time trying to get in through the parking garage. Building security flagged her plate after the lobby incident, so she got stopped before she could enter. I filed an incident report. Didn't push for a restraining order because honestly, I didn't think she was dangerous, just desperate. But I made sure there was documentation. She sent me one final text after the second office incident. I hope you're happy. You've turned everyone against me. My family thinks I'm a liar. My friends don't know what to believe. You could have handled this quietly, and instead you chose to destroy me. I'll never forgive you for that. I read it twice. Then I typed back something I'd been wanting to say for weeks. I proposed 3 times. You said no 3 times. I kept quiet to protect you. Your family cornered me and demanded to know why I wouldn't commit. I told the truth. Everything that's happened since is a consequence of your choices, not mine. I didn't destroy you. Your fear of commitment and your inability to be honest did that. I hope you get the help you need. Please don't contact me again. Then I blocked her number. For real this time. All platforms. Complete cutoff. Her friend reached out one more time, maybe a week later. Different approach this time. Look, I know things are bad, but she's really struggling. She started therapy. She realizes she messed up. She's not asking you to take her back. She just wants the chance to apologize properly, in person, for closure. I thought about it. I really did. Part of me wanted to hear her say she was sorry. Wanted to see her acknowledge what she'd done. But another part of me knew it wouldn't change anything, wouldn't undo 5 years of keeping me in limbo, wouldn't erase 3 rejections and the years of humiliation that followed. I wrote back. I wish her well in therapy, but I don't need her apology for closure. I found my closure when I walked out on Christmas. Please respect that I'm moving forward. Her friend didn't respond. Haven't heard from anyone in her circle since. As for me, I found a new apartment. Small 1-bedroom, nothing fancy, but it's mine. No shared space, no ghosts of proposals past. The financial hit was real. Between breaking the lease, losing deposits, and just general moving costs, I'm down about $4,800. That hurts. Going to take a few months to rebuild that savings cushion. But you know what doesn't hurt? Waking up without wondering if today's the day she'll finally be ready. Not walking on eggshells around her family. Not being the bad guy in a story I didn't write. My therapist, yeah, I started seeing one, seemed smart given everything, said something that stuck with me. She said, "You spent 5 years waiting for someone to choose you while they actively chose uncertainty. That's not patience. That's self-abandonment." Self-abandonment. That hit different. I abandoned myself every time I proposed again after a rejection. Every time I stayed quiet while her aunts questioned my commitment. Every time I made excuses for why she wasn't ready, instead of asking why I was okay with being a perpetual maybe. I'm not angry at her anymore. Not really. She was scared and handled it badly. But fear doesn't excuse 5 years of keeping someone on the hook. Fear doesn't excuse letting your family vilify the person who kept trying to commit to you. She made her choices. I finally made mine. Last thing. Remember I mentioned her dad was surprisingly reasonable? He reached out last week. Just a short message. "I know things ended badly. For what it's worth, I think you handled an impossible situation better than most would have. I'm sorry my family put you in that position. You're a good man. You'll find someone who doesn't make you wait." I didn't respond, but I appreciated it. Some people in that family actually get it. So that's it. 5-year relationship, 3 proposals, 1 very public ending. And now, finally, some peace. To everyone who followed this mess, thanks for the support. It helped to write it out, helped to have people validate that I wasn't crazy for being done. For anyone out there in a similar situation, here's what I learned. Someone who wants to be with you will show you, not through promises of someday or when I'm ready, through actual commitment. If you're always the one proposing and they're always the one postponing, that is your answer. Trust it. I wish I had sooner. Time to start the new year fresh. No more waiting for someone else to decide my worth.